Tonight, James Reimer makes his first ever start against the St. Louis Blues. Brian Elliott is 3-5-1 lifetime against Toronto with a 3.07 goals against average for the Newmarket native. The referees tonight, Kyle Raymond of Stettler, Alberta. He's 35, and Chris Rooney, who's 38 years young from Boston. New Westminster, Alberta's Jay Shares and Pierre Racicot from Verdun, Quebec will work the lines. And we're underway as it's cleared off the glass, I think, and into the screen by Reimer.
And barely.
Yes, it was.
First.
That's why I said I think.
Blues team is a forechecking heavy team, very similar to Los Angeles. The Leafs saw last night. They like to place pucks in areas where the forecheckers can get in deep, and they get on the body in a hurry, particularly in this building.
Peter Holland taking the draw with Vladimir Sobotka, and he gets waved out. So Chris Stewart will move in, and it is won by Holland and around back of the goal. Ranger reversing the puck. Same lineup that was on the ice last night against the Kings, and it is Lupul getting it ahead for Holland. Holland trying to slide it by, and it's knocked back out into the center ice area by St. Louis. Mark Fraser with a glance over his shoulder to find Ranger, and up on the wing it comes. Holland will knife it down into the St. Louis zone. Lupul let it go. Fraser plays it in a little further. Lupul trying to kick it out into the slot. Couldn't get a backhand away. Ties up his man as it's fed back in there by Ranger. And now played out at center ice, and here's Stewart bringing it down into the Toronto end. Stewart into the corner with a hit there by Mark Fraser. Puck comes along the board, played back to the blue line. It's bouncing. Pietrangelo kept it in. Far side for Stewart. Round back of the net, had his centering pass blocked. Pietrangelo creeps in along the boards to keep it in, and now it comes up to Lupul, but he fails to get it out. Leafs are trying to get a change started, and Holland will launch it down into the St. Louis zone. Had enough of a tricky bounce on it to allow the Leafs to get that change orchestrated as Oshie sends it down into the Toronto end. Rattled around the boards by Franson, and up on the right wing it comes. Clarkson hitting Smith in stride. He's in over the line with a shot, and Elliott down to make the save. And hold on, the first good scoring chance comes off the rush, as breaking in there was Trevor Smith.
Well, the puck bounces over the stick of Steen on the half boards as he was going to trap it here, and that allowed the Maple Leafs to really get on the go here. Clarkson with a good pass to Smith. Elliott with a better save, but a real nice first chance for the Toronto Maple Leafs off the rush, showing their speed, something that the coach liked last night against Los Angeles.
So the face-off is won by St. Louis. Played around on the far side, chipped out into the center ice area, too far for Oshie, and now here is Gunnarsson dropping it back. Near side from Riley and played down into the zone. Riley to the bench. Franson comes back on, so the Leafs making a defensive change as it's cleared down into the Toronto zone, and Reimer will leave it there, and the Blues change now. Franson to center. Scored his first goal of the season last night against the LA Kings. A bouncing puck is knocked out at center ice and brought on now by Berglund, who gets across the line. He'll play it in, cut off by Morgan Riley, and Riley skates it out at center. Riley hitting the line and in. Riley lets the wrist shot go. He had Elliott backing deep into the net, but he took that on the pants and is able to hold on and bring a face-off in the St. Louis end.
Well, Randy Carlyle called the effort last night the team's best of the season. They didn't have anything to show for it, but he liked the speed. He liked the forecheck and the zone time much better than he has in previous games throughout the year.
It had been a while since the Leafs outshot an opponent. They did that last night against the Los Angeles Kings, who have worked that little formula fairly well, as they have got some opportunistic scoring and then some great goaltending from Jones in this run without Jonathan Quick. Here's a turnover now for Morrow. He tried to center it in front. Gardner chases his man back to the blue line, but it's maintained by St. Louis. Down into the corner. Bounces around there. Down go two of the Blues, who collided with one another. And Riley in the corner now, trying to free it up. Too well covered there by Cracknell, and now it's played around on the left wing side. Raymond failed to control it. It's gone for an icing and will be brought back into the Toronto zone.
nice visit with Ken Hitchcock before the game, and I asked him about his team, and he said, well, we're an impressive group when we're all working together, and we can be pretty effective. We don't have a superstar or a game breaker, so we need that kind of effort every game, and if we get it, we could be a pretty good hockey team, and as you can tell by their numbers, it backs it up.
They've only given up 35 goals in the last 2 periods of games, so if you don't get a lead early, it's a little tough coming back on these guys with a chance. What a save there by Reimer, and he sprawls out to cover up the 3rd chance. James Reimer comes up huge here.
The Blues are a good face-off team, and that's one of the areas where the Leafs are going to have to be very careful tonight. Reimer, though, I love his patience. He waits, he finds the puck, and then is able to make the save with his left pad after he locates where this puck is through traffic. There, look at the head, left pad, slides across, second good save also on the play.
Face-off controlled by the Blues. Fed back into the corner and around back of the net for Stewart. Looking in front of the net for Jaden Schwartz, but it's cleared by the Leafs down into the St. Louis end, and hustling back after it now. And turning it over, Stewart has some difficulties with it. Swept back in along the boards. Fraser McLaren's wrist shot is steered wide by Elliott. Jerry D'Amigo taken down. McClement in against the wall. He played here in St. Louis for an extended period of time as it's covered up there by Elliott at the side of the net. And he will hold on for a face-off. Jay McClement continues to lead the NHL in shorthanded ice time, and he was a mainstay here in St. Louis for a while.
And he will be relied heavily upon. I thought that although there was a power play goal last night early in the game, I thought that the penalty killing was a little bit better for the Maple Leafs as part of their overall improvement against the Los Angeles Kings last night.
That graphic showed you Jay McClement's contributions here in St. Louis. Back of the net. Coming out in front was Kuhlman, and he couldn't lift that backhand to the goal as it's cleared off a skate to center ice, and it bounces to Kuhlman, who steers it back into the Toronto end. Carl Gunnarsson got it ahead. Here's Holland onto the wing, and it is Kuhlman sending it in deep. Played high off the glass to the line and out, and grabbed off there by Tereshchenko, who plays it into the Toronto zone. Berglund goes in after it on the forecheck, taking the defenseman in against the boards. Riley trying to fish it free, and he has. And Holland starts out on the right wing. Holland with some room down the board, stops in over the line. Now lets the wrist shot go. It's well wide of the net. Leaves Corral at back of the goal. Lupul back to the blue line. Far side, Riley with a wrist shot, and it was knocked away from in front of the net. Good play by Bouwmeester there as it's played down into the Toronto zone. Oshie into the corner, works his way around back of the net, puts the brakes on. Oshie looks for a bank pass back to the blue line and finds it. Fed back in there by Bouwmeester around the boards. It comes. Centering pass, we score! David Backes makes it 1-0 St. Louis.
Well, the kids get hung on the blue line here a little bit, and the St. Louis Blues are such a good low below the goal line team. And they enter the zone, they get the change, and here's how they do it for us. They just control the boards with their size, get it back to the point, the puck stays in, and again, controls the boards behind the net. And then Backes just cruises into the seam between the defense and the forward here, and is wide open. And he makes no mistake as he rifles it short side to get the Blues the early lead.
Alexander Steen's going to draw the 1 assist. And the Blues get the goal from David Backes to give it a 1-0 lead. His 14th goal of the season.
And just a harmless play behind the net. And Steen with a perfect pass right to Backes, and he just cruises in from the slot. He's not picked up at all either by the defenseman or the forward on the play. And an easy shot for him in a good position to give the Blues the lead.
Backes, one of 4 NHL players who's got 600 penalty minutes, along with 300 points since the 06-07 season. As Oshie brings it back into the Toronto zone, a pass on the wing now for Backes. He takes it to the boards, but it is played up along the wall, and the Leafs try to get it to the line, but not out. Oshie keeping it in. Broken up there by Kessel. It's played into the slot for Oshie. He comes right down the slot. That was stopped by Reimer, and it bounces out at center ice as Pietrangelo couldn't keep it in. Like the parting of the waves there. Oshie was allowed to rampage right in there. Now here's another chance and a shot off the catching hand of Reimer. Cracknell letting that go. The Leafs fail to get it out. Now they do. And Smith comes to center ice. He'll chip it in over the line and down into the corner. Maxime Lapierre goes around back of the net, chased by Clarkson. And the Blues break it out at center. They'll roll it in over the line. St. Louis is 12-2-2 on home ice this year. 43 points overall. A whistling shot there by Cole goes wide of the net. Unable to get the puck out was Mason Raymond. And has it gone over the boards? It may have. Clarkson into a bit of a shoving match down on the boards. Nothing more seems to be breaking out at this time.
Blues are 19-1-2 when scoring first, and Hitchcock loves this chip and chase game. And here's an example of it here as the Blues just chip it, nice quiet area into the corner where the goalie can't get it. Now they go to work with their size and their forecheck. 2 men on the puck. 9 times out of 10 they work the points afterwards. Good traffic in front. Reimer had to be very sharp with a good left pad save. That is a typical Ken Hitchcock coach team right there. Pressure on the puck all over the ice. Good forecheck, hard forechecks, and puck location on the shoot-ins.
6-3 are the shots favoring the Blues, who lead 1-0. Backus from Steen and Bouwmeester at 4:48 here of the first period. And Alex Steen is having a career year. Traded here November of 08, along with Carlo Koliakovo for Lee Stepniak. And Alex Steen has just been scintillating. He is tied for second in goal production, has led the Blues throughout, and having a career year as it's played by Fraser around on the boards. Tip pass by McLaren didn't work. It goes back into the corner. McLaren trying to tie up his man. The puck along the boards, but not out. Schwartz back to the blue line. A big rebound in front. McLaren unable to get it out as it comes to the near side, and then McClement couldn't reach it in time. Here the Blues sweeping it in front. That went off the pad of Reimer, and Jay McClement's going to get a penalty for taking Jaden Schwartz to the ice.
The first period of tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from St. Louis is brought to you by Proline. Get way into the game. By Purolator. Excitement delivered. By 5 Hour Energy. And by Ford, go further.
There's just 0.5 percentage points between these two power plays here tonight. The Blues second in the league. However, the Leafs fourth in the league in the power play. And there's a look at the Jay McClement penalty there as the Blues go to work on their power play.
Face off one by St. Louis. Steen works the point on the far side. It goes. Twisting and turning with it. It comes back to Steen. The shot went off a body and wide of the net. Backus getting it back along the boards. Oshie gets it freed up. A pass into the slot. Tipped into the corner. Grabbed off there by D'Amigo, but he can't clear. Back of the net goes Franson after it as it's banked back to the blue line. Shattenkirk looking for a man. It comes over here on the near side for Steen. Steen sliding it back, and the drive is deflected off the side of the goal. It's centered again, but it's broken up there. Brought to the near side for Steen once more. Over on the far wing it goes. Grabbed off by Carl Gunnarsson. Unable to clear it was Franson. Blues back in business with it again. D'Amigo trying to chase down Oshie. Comes in front, and it is finally cleared off a body by Gunnarsson down into the St. Louis zone. Steen turning back up ice. Plays it off a skate and into the Toronto zone. Pietrangelo goes into forecheck. It comes to the side of the goal. Bouncing around there as it's cleared back into the corner. Unable to clear it, Van Riemsdyk. Rattled around the boards this time and unable to keep it in was Sobotka at the blue line. Bouwmeester is back to recover the puck. Brings it out at center, drops it back. Sobotka gets it across the line, flipped into the corner. Ranger with his stick up rather high there, gets it along the boards. Fraser bumped off the puck. Now coming out in front with a shot right on with Schwartz. Another save made by Reimer, and he's going to hold on. Schwartz came right out from behind the net.
Yeah, this kid has 9 points in his last 10 games, a +8, and I really love the way he plays. Just really his first full year in the National Hockey League, getting his feet wet, and this guy is a worker. He's got good skill, speed. Real nice pick by the St. Louis Blues.
14th overall in the 2010 draft from Wilcox, Saskatchewan. Reimer Reimer's going to smother another rolling puck right off the faceoff with 22 seconds to go in the first infraction of the game, and the Leafs have been on their heels here from the start as the Blues have jumped to a 1-0 lead. Smith taking the face-off against Berglund, scrums the draw. The Blues control it and get it back to Steen. Onto the near side. Shattenkirk tries to play it along the wall and does for Berglund, who was bodied there by Franson. Back to the far side it goes, and Steen plays it in. Now Shattenkirk back at the point with a shot. That grazes the post. Steen unable to keep it in.
That's 2 already for the St. Louis Blues off the post from the point, with huge traffic in front of Reimer, who's not been able to pick up pucks with all the traffic in front of him from the point shots.
Veteran Brendan Morrow plays it in. Riley got a good piece of his man to get it up along the boards as McClement is back onto the ice. But here the Blues back in business with a shot, and Berglund sent it just wide of the goal. Puck along the boards and into the corner. Now centered in front, knocked away, and Gardner finally gets it out into the center ice area, but eludes Phil Kessel. Blues back in the wrong zone. Polak got it ahead, and now Oshie plays it in on the right side. Backus into the long shot. It is taken on the chest by Reimer and held for a face-off again in the Toronto zone. 10:32 to go in the period.
The Leafs are having a difficult time here with the pressures, and that's causing all kinds of turnovers for the St. Louis Blues, and this one just missed the far side as well.
Blues have won 11 face-offs, and the Leafs just 2. Make it 12. And another drive is gloved high by Reimer and held with 10:28 to go in the first period. And as dominant as the Leafs were last night in the shot department anyway, they are back to their old haunts here, being outshot 11-3 in the first half of the first period.
Reimer has been unbelievable so far in this period. The faceoff wins 10-1 in favor of St. Louis so far here, with 10 minutes to go still in period 1. Now 11-1.
Played back along the boards and into the corner. Whoa! The official goes for a cartwheel there as it's played off the glass. Trying to get out of the way is Jay Sherris as the Leaf break it out. Lupo, diagonal, shoot it into the right wing corner. Kuhlman tries to take his man to the boards. Down the wall, it's knocked back to the blue line. Lupo keeping it in. Wrist shot is blocked, but a rebound goes right in front for Holland, and he couldn't deliver the puck. It comes back to the blue line to Riley. Riley stepping in. Still with it, gets it around back of the net for Holland. Holland looking for Gardner back at the blue line. Pass up into the corner, no one home, and it is backhanded by St. Louis to the line and out. It'll get in over the line, chased there by Gardner is Lapierre, and Gardner plays it around on the boards for Riley. Riley on the wing for Kuhlman. Kuhlman a bank pass for Holland, poked in over the line, got around the official, and then fields to the bench. Blues leading 1-0. Steen upended there as he was coming across the neutral zone. Takes a glance back at the official, wondering why there wasn't a call. And now Franson gets it ahead for Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson on for Van Riemsdyk, played down into the St. Louis end. Elliott back of the net, pumps it around on the boards for Oshie, and TJ Oshie comes to center. He'll play it in off the left wing for Backus. Steen is in front of the net. Backus into the corner. Steen gets to the puck, but as he tried to get it back to the point, it slides all the way back into the St. Louis zone. Pietrangelo regrouping the disc in the far side. The pass comes up on the left wing. Backhanded right back down into the Toronto end. Fraser along back of the goal. Kadri stripped of the disc. There's a loose man in front. Ranger just did get his stick there, and Derek Roy was standing all alone in front of the net. Long shot. Reimer another save. He will cover it up, and the Leafs need to regroup and get some kind of offensive flow going. Trailing 1-0 here in the first period from St. Louis. Tonight's keys to the game are brought to you by Tim Hortons, official coffee of the NHL.
And the shot's 12-3 in favor of the St. Louis Blues, so the building on the effort hasn't happened yet. Be tidy, that hasn't happened. The Blues have great team defense, and yes, the big line, Steen, Backus, and Oshie, well, they're already on the board in this game. And I want to show you the shoot in here now. As defensemen, you got to get back in a hurry, and you got to give each other an outlet. And there isn't anything going on there at all. Fraser gets caught going back slow. Ranger doesn't help him out. The forwards aren't in position. Look out. Another chance to score off the forecheck for St. Louis.
Berglund along the boards, plays it into the corner, trying to work out in front of the net. It comes around to the near side. Now batted away there by Raymond as it comes back to the blue line. Roy into the corner, trying to center. That one off his skate. It comes back to the blue line. Roman Polak with a shot that's blocked, but it's bouncing around into the near corner. Blues are quickly onto it and play it back along the boards. Leafs trying to feather it ahead for Raymond, but doesn't get out past the defense. Polak sending it right back in again. Finally, Raymond has some skating room, and he starts out with David Clarkson. A bank pass for Clarkson is too far. Clarkson able to cover his man, and the centering pass for Raymond never reached him. Good piece of back-checking by Roman Polak there to negate Raymond going to the net. Both teams changing. 7.5 minutes to play in the first period. 1-0 St. Louis. Gardner into the corner. Riley skates it out. Hits the line. Bowled over there was D'Amigo. The puck comes to the near wing, and it is slashed down into the Toronto zone. Reimer lost the handle on his stick. Here are the Blues in business now as Riley plays it off the boards. It's a long way to go and try to get to it. Here the Blues back in. 3-on-2 rush. Pass in front. Tose scores! Jaden Schwartz.
Shoot in. Reimer loses the stick, so it goes all the way around. And again, the Blues first to the puck, which has been the story, and then it goes to the neutral zone. Riley gets it, but doesn't get it all the way out. Here comes the counterattack back again, and because the stick is gone, it's not between the legs of Reimer after Reimer makes an unbelievable first save on Schultz. The rebound goes right back on his tape, and because Reimer doesn't have a stick, there's a little room between the legs, and it's 2-0.
8th of the season for Jaden Schwartz.
But besides all that, the Leafs are losing puck after puck in the neutral zone. They're not getting any plays past the red line, and the Blues are coming back against them with all kinds of speed. And it's been all St. Louis here in this first period.
Sobotka and Jackman are getting the assists on the goal. And it is a 2-0 St. Louis lead.
And the tough schedule here is showing up for the Toronto Maple Leafs. A tough game last night, a long travel to get to St. Louis, and they just have come out not ready in this game, period. And the Blues have been sitting waiting for them, and they have jumped on the Maple Leafs here with their speed and forechecking ability.
Lupo played it back towards the blue line, and it comes into the Toronto zone. Fraser brought back in on a delayed offside, and it'll be whistled down here as Adam Cracknell touched the puck inside the zone.
Tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from St. Louis is brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Leafs.
Six minutes, 45 seconds to go in the first period. 2-0 St. Louis, and it's not that close. 14-3 are the shots on goal favoring St. Louis, whose zone time has been astronomical here in the first 14 minutes. And a penalty coming here as Clarkson was upended in front of the Toronto bench.
Steen's
and a disbelieving Alexander Steen is going to the penalty box.
Here it is, the board. There's the trip. So maybe the Leafs, even if they get some chances here, change the momentum a little bit, have a good power play, see if they can get going.
13:27, the time of the infraction.
We should underline the fact that it's 2-0, but it could be worse, as Reimer's been excellent in goal and made several point-blank saves in this period.
Draw won by Toronto. Kessel along the boards, trying to free it up. Got it back to the blue line to Cody Franson, who slides it over to Jake Gardner. Gardner back to Franson. Franson returns the favor. Gardner winds, doesn't shoot it. Kessel across for Franson. Shot blocked, got it again. Franson at the half boards, back to the blue line. Kessel now on the near side. Stepping off the wing with a shot. Elliott saw that around Van Riemsdyk. It's down into the corner, and Franson in tight. Plays it back around the boards. Kessel trying to play it back to the blue line. Gardner just did keep it in. It rolls back into the corner after it's played there. Shot to the line and out. The Blues penalty killing is 12th in the NHL, but they've allowed just 17. Conversely, the Maple Leafs have allowed 29 thus far as it is shot down the ice by St. Louis.
And both teams are penalized a lot. The Leafs 29th in that area, and right behind them, the St. Louis Blues. So they both spend a bit of time in the box.
At center, played into the left wing corner by Franson. Raymond gets it back towards the blue line. Gardner to Franson. Franson doesn't shoot it. Then he does! And it went off back in front of the net. Elliott the save and a whistle here. Kadri had to go off him and right into the goal area. And it will be a face-off coming in the circle to the left. We apologize for our video problems here. We are diligently working at it. So it's old-fashioned radio broadcast.
And I'll give you the radio call here as Elliott to the side of the net on a redirect had to be very quick to get his left pad out as Kadri was sitting on the doorstep, and that was a huge save for the St. Louis Blues goaltender there on an excellent chance to power play by Toronto.
41 seconds remaining in it. Blues have won 17 of the 20 face-offs thus far, but the Leafs get this one. Not near side for Carl Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson down the left wing boards, trying to chip it along and back of the net. The puck comes free, and the Blues will break it out. And it is rolled and bounced down into the Toronto zone. Morgan Rielly reverses it on the left wing, and it's brought out by Mason Raymond. Raymond along with Kadri and Clarkson. Into the corner for Kadri. Kadri along the boards, pushes it back towards the blue line. Raymond to the point to Rielly, far side for Gunnarsson. As he tries to play it in, it's deflected by David Backes, and it's up into the crowd and out of play.
The thing the Blues will do when they're killing, they're very, very assertive and aggressive. And that is the way, again, Hitchcock coaches. And that play by Backes there, I mean, all of a sudden, Gunnarsson looked up, he had nothing, as Backes was right on him in a hurry.
We think we've got some of the visuals fixed up here, but we're still working on a problem in the truck, so we'll ask you to bear with us. Played back to the blue line, over on the near side for Gunnarsson, but it was outside the line, says the linesman on this side.
So 2 seconds left in the power play. One good chance that could have easily been a goal as Elliott made a terrific left pad save in the power play for the Maple Leafs.
Elliott and Halak have been a nice 1-2 punch in goal here for a while for Ken Hitchcock.
Oh, you mean another team with 2 goalies? I'll be darned.
No, I wasn't bringing up the Walmsley Millen tirade here.
Bringing up the.
There's a shot that just goes wide of the net.
I was more bringing up all the controversy. How can you have 2 goalies in Toronto?
I'm pretty sure you were trying to get the Walmsley Millen thing. Back to the blue line. Here's a drive. Oh, and that strikes Carl Gunnarsson up high, and he heads to the bench. And is he? No, he's going to take a seat. I thought he might go right to the dressing room. He's hunched over at the bench.
It hit him right in the arm.
Yeah, I think you're right. Marty Dungeon over there taking a look at the Leaf defenseman as the Blues get it back in after killing the penalty. Chris Stewart centers! Scores! Derek Roy! Derek Roy came right down the slot unimpeded.
Didn't he? Wide open. It's a nice pickup by the Blues that they got in the summer as a free agent. And he's almost a point a game of late. And a rush play here. A little turn back, And Stewart just throws it out in the slot. Derek Roy just rifles it. And everybody's puck watching for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Bernier's coming in, but this isn't because of Reimer's play. The shot's 15-5. This is just trying to shake the team up a little bit here, as Reimer's had no chance on any of the goals, in my opinion. None.
James Reimer looking on. Stewart draws the first assist. Derek Roy with his 8th of the year. And Jonathan Bernier comes into the game, and James Reimer heads to the bench. And he's going to head to the dressing room.
And again, you can't fault Reimer, in my opinion, at all for any of those goals, as he has been left alone, and frankly, it could be much worse than 3-0, in my opinion, the way the team has played in front of him here in the first period.
Well,
Andy Carlisle, I'm sure, trying to give his team a wake-up call, see if he can grab some energy here somehow from his group.
Kessel leaving the zone too soon. There's a shot right on and a juicy rebound, laying in the blue paint. Well, if the Leafs had their best overall game despite losing last night to the Kings, they may be experiencing their worst period of the season here in St. Louis. Here's Gardner back at the blue line with a long shot. Elliott kicks that into the corner. Riley around back of the net for Kessel, who played it out in front, no one home, and it's bounced out into the center ice area, and Karam down into the Toronto zone.
You may get away without having enough one night, but in a night like this, when the Blues have such depth and a big line in Steen, Backes, and Oshie, he'd look pretty good with Gunnarsson right now trying to shut down the big line.
Gunnarsson is not on the bench as it's played in on Bernier, and he's going to smother it. And there'll be a face-off in the Toronto zone to the left. So after taking that high shot, Carl Gunnarsson was doubled over, and he has gone off to the dressing room. James Reimer driven from the net. 3-0 Blues.
Welcome back to St. Louis with 2:48 to play in the opening period. Canada shops at shop.ca, Canada's largest store. Visit shop.ca/Toronto to sign up for a special offer.
The dejected James Reimer on the bench, who really didn't have a whole heck of a lot of help. He lost his goal stick on the one play, which was a huge problem, but still, the goals were still, he made an unbelievable first save. The rebound went right back on that goal also, and he made several big saves, or it could have been way worse.
Played around the boards and out and down the ice. This will slide for an icing. With 2 minutes and 33 seconds to go in a disastrous first period. Backes from Steen and Bouwmeester at 4:48. Schwartz from Sobotka and Jackman at 12:59. And Roy from Stewart and Schwartz at 16:10. And 15-5 were the shots at that point. There's 16-6 at this time. Backes has won 7 face-offs. The Leafs have won just 6. Here's Lupul down into the corner. Played around back of the net for McClement. McClement, down goes Lupul. Kuhlman got a piece of his man as Ranger keeps the puck in for Franson. Chopped into the line, and it's going to come out into the center ice area. Franson drops it back for Paul Ranger. His feed for Kuhlman didn't work, and the Blues send it ahead for Oshie. Oshie across the line. Steen sifting to the front of the net. Far side it goes for Lapierre, back to the blue line. Lapierre sends it back to the goal for Alex Steen. Centered in front of the net, knocked away by Bernier. Here's Lupul. On to Kuhlman. Kuhlman across the line for McClement. Back into Kuhlman. He redirected it, but didn't get it elevated very much. And Elliott really didn't have much of a problem handling that.
You know, and Kuhlman had an opportunity there to take the pass with time and let it rip. And a soft redirect by Kuhlman that really the goalie didn't have any trouble with at all, as it just directed in front of Elliott, and he just held his ground and caught the puck in a fairly light attempt by Kuhlman.
Face off won by St. Louis. Blues break it out on the right wing. A long lead pass trying to find Stewart. He rolls it into the corner. Down into the boards goes Schwartz. Puck comes free, and out come the Leafs led by Kessel. Phil Kessel to the line. Puts the brakes on. Snaps it too far for Kadri to handle. Van Riemsdyk back to the net. Kessel gets it freed up. Centering wraparound attempt by Kadri didn't work. 4 Blues break the center ice. Van Riemsdyk fell as it comes into the slot. Pass onto the wing. Centering attempt. I was blocked at the last second. Back to the goal. The Blues with it again. Stewart gets it into the slot. Sobotka to the blue line. A shot, and that was riveted wide of the net. Off the stick of Pietrangelo. Wraparound attempt comes in front again. And it's backhanded wide of the goal by Schwartz. No jump there from Kadri as he was slow to react. It comes in front finally, and Kessel rolls it out into the center ice area. Leafs will change. Blues back in their own zone. Pietrangelo, the King City native, plays it in over the line. Hammered ahead and off the stick of Smith down into the corner. Mason Raymond goes in there after it. Smith couldn't free it up. Blues send it to the blue line. Clarkson couldn't keep it in. Back across the line comes St. Louis. Upended there as Smith took his man down. Sprawling was Derek Roy, and it is out into the center ice area. 9 seconds left to play in the period. St. Louis backhanding it down into the Toronto zone. Fraser going back to the net. Time will run out.
A period that was all St. Louis right from the very first drop of the puck. There wasn't one area where you could say the Leafs dominated in that first period. Not one.
So the goals from Backes, Schwartz, and Roy, and the Blues have a 3-0 lead after one here at the Scotia Trade Center. Forward to the continuation of that excellent series, and here at the Scott Trade Center, the Leafs are looking to rebound from arguably their worst period of hockey this season, following up on what was an excellent effort last night. But Backes, Schwartz, and Roy scoring the goals as Schwartz has a 2-point period.
And it was all about the forecheck for the St. Louis Blues as they gained puck possession more than once. And then once they did, they worked it so well, and Backes wide open by himself. The first goal of the game, and a pass from Steen, and a similar goal later in the period as well. This time Reimer lost his stick behind the net originally. Schwartz left wide open on the counterattack. He gets his own rebound, and then a similar play to the first goal, where the Blues just working behind the net, and that time left all open was Derek Roy to give the Blues a 3-0 lead after one. The shot 16-7, and really only a couple of chances for the Maple Leafs, so that was on the power play.
So here at the Scott Trade Center, it is 3-0 St. Louis as we start the second period with the teams at even strength and sent down into the St. Louis zone. Elliott pumps it around on the boards. Holland knocked it back behind the goal. And Shattenkirk goes to the loose puck turnover. A shot right on, knocked away there by the glove hand of Elliott. And the Blues get it up on the left wing now, and Jaden Schwartz. Long right wing pass. In across the line, Sabotka into the slot. Shot scores! Chris Stewart, the former Kingston Frontenac. And whatever was said between periods has not fallen on receptive ears.
Well, this starts with a great pass by Schwartz. I mean, how about this one? Stick to stick, bang, right across. And then this is a 2-on-2. And I don't know why everybody's trying to play goal here. Ranger just has to take his man going to the net. He ends up trying to play goal. He ends up screening his goalie, and it might even hit him as it went in past Bernier, who was sliding across the transition. And I think it hit Ranger. Instead of Ranger just staying on his feet, a 2-on-2, taking his man to the net, he decides to try to play goal against caught no man's land, and I believe that hit him and went in the net.
Sixth of the year for the Toronto native. And Chris Stewart expands the lead to 4-0 as it's sent down the ice for an icing by Jake Gardiner. Now they wave it off. The puck down into the corner is played up along the boards. And Derek Roy gets it out into the center ice area. Tereshchenko in on the right side. Berglund into the corner. A long shot is going wide of the net. Is gloved by Bernier and held. And a face-off coming in the Toronto zone to the left.
Well, we're going to find out a little bit about this team now at 4-0. Who's going to be the competitive players for Randy Carlyle? And so far, it's been very difficult to list many. And you can see the coach's fun meter at the moment. It's not very good. Pretty low.
Say the fun meter for everyone is almost non-existent. A backhand there by Oshie went off the side of the goal. And the Blues are just having their way with the Maple Leafs at this point. Backes into the area back of the net, tied up by Franson. Puck along the boards for Steen. Steen looks in front with a shot. That just missed. It comes back to the blue line. Challenging it there was Van Riemsdyk, but here Steen working his way out in front of the goal, losing it to Kessel. Kessel with a tight turn in the corner, launches it high into the center ice area. Van Riemsdyk, or at least Kadri, gets one, shoots and scores! Nazem Kadri from an angle into the face-off circle, and that beats the catching hand of Brian Elliott on a fairly easy shot, I thought. Greg, am I wrong?
Well, it looked at Joel, and the Leafs will take it. An alley-oop that ends up in Kadri's stick. He pulls and drags it right through the defenseman's legs, and Elliott gets caught deep in his net. That's a heck of a shot, though. I got to tell you, he wired that baby right over the glove of Elliott. He really got all of it.
Did it hit the leg of the defenseman?
I don't think so. I think it just went through Pietrangelo, and I don't know that Elliott picked it up properly as it went through, and then a perfect shot right over his glove. And let's see if this gives the Leafs any kind of life at all. Maybe it will.
Nazem Kadri with his 10th of the year as Fraser McLaren rolls it into the corner around Shattenkirk and goes in there after it. They battle against the inboards. McClement pinning his man and McLaren trying to dig it free. Here's McClement along the boards, back behind the net. Jerry D'Amigo bodied by Barrett Jackman. D'Amigo upended by Jackman, and a penalty is coming to St. Louis. And then Jackman comes back and gives D'Amigo a shot. And the Leafs are going to get their second power play opportunity here unless something else transpires.
Smith has shown a little bit of pushback here, and there's the penalty to begin with on D'Amigo. So it will be Barrett Jackman going to the penalty box. So now the Leafs up, they get one back. Now they get a power play. The one positive of the first period was their power play. The only one of the period for the Toronto Maple Leafs was good. They had an excellent chance to score on it. They moved the puck well. Let's see if they can do it again here.
Kadri becomes the fourth Toronto player in double digits in scoring with his tally. And the Leafs on the power play for the second time, and all of the Leaf power plays in tonight's game are from St. Louis, brought to you by Just Energy. Energy made easy. And the Blues right off the hop send it out and down the ice. Kessel gets the assist on the Kadri goal as Gardner gets it across the line and goes into the corner after, down on the end board with Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk unable to get to it. Kessel backhands behind the goal. Van Riemsdyk sending it around for Franson. He won't get there in time, and Backes has sent it out on the backhand down the ice. Pass across for Lupulin. Lupul tried the little toe drag move but couldn't deliver the shot. Bouwmeester stripping him of the puck and played out and down the ice by St. Louis. Franson with a quick up for Kessel on the right wing as the Leafs have changed. Brought in across the line into the slot. Dropped past them by Van Riemsdyk to Kadri. Kadri on the far half boards back to the blue line. Near side for Franson. Franson back to a shot there by Gardner. Went wide. There's a rebound in front, but no one could deliver the payload with Elliott down. And it's shot out and down the ice.
Elliott looks to be fighting it a little bit for me, so the Leafs would be well served here just to throw some pucks towards the net. They may at least get some rebound.
Schwartz with a goal and 2 assists for St. Louis as it's back to the blue line, and here's Riley with a wrist shot off the catching hand of Elliott.
Another rebound.
Into the corner it goes again. Here's Raymond centering. It comes back to Riley. He dives to keep it in. Played by Gunnarsson to the far side. Out into the slot for Raymond. Raymond with a shot. That's blocked. Raymond gets it handed to him again. Down goes Gunnarsson. And it'll be pushed out and down the ice by St. Louis. Carl Gunnarsson, who took that shot up on the arm in the first period and went to the dressing room. Back into the fray as you saw. The Leafs get it across the line for Kadri again with a shot that is another rebound, and that bounced for Clarkson, but when he shot it, it went off a Blues player and into the corner. Right back down into the St. Louis zone it goes. Bouwmeester laying it up on the left wing. Barrett Jackman has it there, and his long backhand pass is broken up by Fraser, and now in on the wing it goes, and the Leafs get it into the corner. Holland against the boards, frees it up for Joffrey Lupul. Lupul into the slot, and it didn't reach Kuhlman as it was cut off there by Steen. Now here's Kuhlman coming out. Back to the blue line to Fraser, and a shot in traffic is blocked. There's a rebound, but it's taken to safety and skated out by Steen. Steen to center ice. Rolling it in, Pietrangelo, a pass in front, and that deflected just wide of the near post. Cleared off the boards to center. Cole going back. Kuhlman just did get Backes' stick tied up, or he had an empty net. Rink-wide pass is in over the line. Riley playing it ahead at center. McLaren shoots it in. McClement goes into the corner after it. McClement for McLaren, and now back of the goal for D'Amigo in front of the net. And a shot by Jay McClement went off a skate wide. A better pushback here for the Maple Leafs since they have scored at 1:45. But the goal 29 seconds into the period buried them into a 4-0 hole. 14:05 to play in the second period. Right around back of the net for Morgan Riley. Right ahead at center and launched out into the center ice area. Right back down into the Toronto zone it goes. Here's Gardner. A rink-wide pass. Freeman tried to drag it in, had it knocked away, brought back by Sobotka. Sobotka gets it into the corner. Diving to knock it away there was Gardner as it's around back of the net. Penalty coming to Toronto. It goes to the far side where it is touched, and the penalty will come here from Chris Rooney as the Maple Leafs will be a man short for the second time in the game.
Just when the Leafs seem to be getting a little momentum, you get Clarkson with the illegal contact to the head, and let's have a look at it here. Right there. Ooh, boy, that's a dangerous looking hit. No doubt about that one. Now, I want to show, everybody might blame the defense here, but look at the Leafs forwards. Two guys standing still on the blue line, and never an outlet pass for Gardner coming out of the zone. So then ends up in a penalty and a good forecheck for the Blues again. The Leaf forwards have to get back against a forechecking club and get in a position so the defense have an outlet pass. First of all, defense need more than one outlet, and it was barely an outlet pass there. And even if they did get the pass up to the forward, there were two forwards standing on the blue line. They would have been standing still. There was no chance they would have got a forecheck.
The only option is to tip it in.
Yeah,
and then there's no pursuit.
No, because you're standing still on the blue line.
Here's the pass on the near side. Quick shot, stop there, the rebound in front of the net, and it is shot down the ice by Kuhlman.
And the Leafs have to start getting back into their zone quicker and coming out at least as five together against this Blues team who really pressure the puck, or you're in trouble.
Shattenkirk drops the puck back. Brought on by Oshie on the wing to Backes, and into the corner it goes. Oshie around back of the net. Tangles in there with Carl Gunnarsson. The puck comes free. Chopped to the line, but not out by McClement. Near side for Shattenkirk. Back to Steen. Steen to the far side. Works for a wrist shot coming, and it's blocked. Another rebound in front. Shattenkirk back to Steen. The drive is off a body in front. That hit Oshie, I believe, and he is slow to get up and head to the bench. Kuhlman, rink-wide pass. Franson unable to deliver it at the net, just plays it around the far boards, and Sobotka, who's having a big night with a goal and two helpers, brings it out. Knocked down into the Toronto zone. Bernier tees it up there for Franson, and he wires it out and down the ice. Mason Raymond was hunting around over on this near side. Had he been able to slow that up, he might have had a short-handed rush. Here the Blues bringing it back in over the line. Flipped in by Schwartz into the corner. Schwartz gets it handed to him again. Back to the blue line for Bouwmeester. Bouwmeester on the far side. Pietrangelo back to Bouwmeester. Bouwmeester steps around one. Onto the near side it goes. Back to Bouwmeester again with a shot that's blocked in front. Gobbled up there by Sobotka. Back to Bouwmeester. Over for Pietrangelo. A pass in front. Great pad save made there by Bernier. And it's backhanded to the line, but not out. Unable to clear was D'Amigo, and a shot off the goal post. It comes back on the near side. Pietrangelo into the near corner. Tarasenko, and we're going to get a look at this, but I think it hit the post.
It did. And that's 3 so far in the game for the Blues.
The second period of tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from St. Louis is brought to you by Tim Hortons, official coffee of the NHL, by Just Energy, energy made easy, and think you know the Maple Leafs? Well, prove it. Predict game day action for a chance to win season tickets for the Leafs. Visit mapleleafs.com/lastfanstanding to learn more.
Face off to the right of Bernier, who made an outstanding pad save and then got the benefit of a goal post to keep it at 4-1. Draw one by Toronto, fed into the corner by Morgan Riley. On the back of the goal it goes for Berglund. Berglund to the near side and pinching down to keep it in there was Cole. A good hit as it comes to the far side. Roman Polak in with a shot, juggled it, knocked away, and backhanded down the ice by Toronto. Ian Cole, graduate of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, gets it ahead at center.
Knew that was coming when I read it.
Brought out by Riley. Up on the left wing side it goes. There's Van Riemsdyk in with a shot. That went off a leg. Kadri unable to get to it. The Leafs have killed off the penalty. Neither team has scored with the man advantage. Long shoot in wide of Bernier. And so it is Kadri turning and trying to flip it back. That was cut off. He gets it again, but it is gobbled up by Oshie and to the line and just kept in. Another shot is deflected off the blocking glove of Bernier into the screen and out of play.
Bernier is very good at that. When he feels danger, he has the ability to knock pucks out right out of play off his blocker. D'Amigo on a play earlier, the young play where you're killing a penalty, you got out that extra mile to get it out. And the Blues get an excellent chance and rang it off the post.
Blues had 16 shots in the first period, and they've got 23 now as a collision there with Cole. Leafs with a long shoot into the right wing corner. Clarkson unable to get to it in time. It's back out into the center ice area. Gunnarsson having difficulties with Steen, who goes down into the corner with it. For Oshie. That bounces around and comes back to the blue line. Jackman sends it around back of the net. Steen couldn't get to it. Lupul does. He turns. And now a bank pass out at center ice. Clarkson is across the line. Clarkson puts the brakes on at the half boards and backhands behind the net for Peter Holland. He couldn't get it in front, and the Blues get it out. Oshie ran into Clarkson, but still has the disc. Here's Oshie trying to work his way and back to Backes. Up on the wing it goes for Steen. Steen holds it off on the far side along with Carl Gunnarsson. It comes free. A wrist shot is blocked in front. It comes back to the blue line. This is Bouwmeester with a chance, and he sent it wide of the goal. Blues with it again, back into the slot. Pietrangelo stepping in, hit the goal post.
It's 4 and counting.
Out into the center ice area. Cracknell gets it up on the left wing, and it's backhanded by Brendan Morrow down into the Toronto zone. Gunnarsson plays it around the boards, backhanded by Lupul down the ice. There's going to be an icing charge. So there'll be a face-off in the circle to the left of Jonathan Bernier. And look at all of those old teams. There you are.
Yeah, had a great time here in St. Louis. It was a wonderful place to live, and that old barn was a lot of fun to play in. That's for sure.
Yeah, Jim Pavisa's name, he was up in Sault Ste. Marie when I got my broadcast career started way back when.
And the Blues, it was a great old barn, and Ronnie Caron was the professeur here, and he was worth the price of admission. Long shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal, comes to the side of the net. Clement working along the boards, got it ahead to Lupul. Lupul trying to play it into the zone to get a change of players started as it comes to the Toronto bench area, and Clarkson finally sends a backhand to the side of the net to Elliott.
He was an animated manager, but I can tell you all the players loved him, Joey. He was an honest man that treated us really well.
Oh, he was a terrific individual. Yep.
What a piece of work.
Animated is a good word.
He threw the odd chair in the press box down a few rows.
Yes, he did. He was a lot of fun to watch. Susie Matthews trying to keep the lasso on him at times. There's a centering pass, goes to Stewart. Chris Stewart drops it off, dumped there as it comes ahead for McLaren, and Fraser McLaren gets it into the center ice area. James calling for a penalty as McClement chases his man back. The Leafs are changing in the goal, and the Blues. Schwartz brings it in over the line. Couple of moves as he works to the half board, stopping there, cycles it into the corner. On the boards for Sobotka. He had it taken away by Mark Fraser, and Fraser drops it in front of his own goal to Ranger, who gets it up on the wing and out into the center ice area. Chasing after it is Trevor Smith. Collision there as Ranger was heading to the bench, and slow to the bench on the far side is Chris Stewart, and it is sent into the Blues bench area as Stewart shaking off a little bit of a collision there. We had a flashback of Greg Millen's day here in St. Louis, but here's another flashback of our television host. Who do you think this young man is?
I think it's the pie man at medieval times.
No. Wait for it. Here's the before and after.
I didn't get a lot of dates in those days, guys.
No.
I know you might find that hard to believe.
You didn't get many haircuts either. I love it. I think he looked like a Norseman.
Oh, my God. 1979, guys.
Ooh. Hair was different then.
Yeah.
Well, if your name begins with an S for the St. Louis Blues, you're getting points. Stewart, a goal and an assist. Schwartz, a goal and an assist. Steen, a goal. Sobotka, a couple of assists. They have been busy in a 4-1 lead as Mason Raymond is upended trying to bring the puck out from behind the net. And 3 Blues break it to center. Terashenko in, dropping it off. Centering pass, and it is backhanded out at center ice. Raymond unable to break. Here is Riley jumping into the rush. Morgan Riley into the corner. Riley backhands out in front, and it was cut off before it reached Raymond. Barrett Jackman. 6.5 minutes to go in the second period as Elliott plays it around back of the net. And the Blues break it out at center ice with a pass that is out of the reach of Patrick Berglund, and Riley turns in his own zone. Pass off a skate. Brought back in by Oshie. Oshie drops for Steen, who centers in front, and it is dug out by Clarkson and taken into the corner. He'll play it off the glass to center ice. Bouwmeester regroups on the far side, and Pietrangelo sends it in. Rolling puck swept up by goaltender Jonathan Bernier, and he will hold.
Titan Equity Group Limited is a proud partner of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Dream big. Invest in your future securely.
And yet, the turnovers throughout the game has been an issue in the neutral zone. Here's another one. And the Steen line particularly are awful tough offensively. And another good play there. And Bernier again makes the save.
Leafs have been better in the face-off circle this period, winning 5 of 9. As it's played out into the center ice area for McClement. Batted high in the air by Kuhlman. McClement around back of the net. Off on the wing. Kuhlman got there, but didn't get the puck in. Now it's turned over, and a wrist shot is off the mark wide. Played high to center ice. Schwartz trying to get it down into the zone. Dishes it off. Sobotka's pass intercepted by McClement. Steered back out into the center ice area. Blues regrouping at their own blue line, and a pass knocked away by Fraser. Carried to the red line by McClement, but he couldn't get it in deep. The Blues have it again. Changes here for Toronto. Brought out by Ian Cole. Up on the wing and launched down into the Toronto zone, and Rangers around back of the net. Kessel is way up by the blue line, and Ranger is stick handling around back of the net. Gives it off to Kadri. Kadri doesn't get the puck out. Here's a chance in on the right side, and a shot stopped by Bernier. Around to the boards it comes to the blue line again. Bouwmeester keeping it in. All of this without being able to just simply get the puck out when you've had perfect control of it back of the net.
And it turns into an excellent chance to score.
On the boards, still in the Toronto zone. Finally bounced out at center ice. Kadri with Kessel in on the right side, going wide. Kessel goes in front of the goal, and Van Riemsdyk couldn't get his stick on it. Van Riemsdyk's centering effort was blocked as Morgan Rielly was headed for the front of the net. Kadri blocks the path, but it is brought out now by St. Louis. 24-11, the shots on goal here into the second period. Gardner takes his man to the boards. Rielly trying to dig it out. Kadri is in there as well. Kadri knocks his man down from behind. Now battles in there with Adam Cracknell, and it comes free to Kessel. Kessel just launches it down into the St. Louis end. Jackman. A lead pass deflected into the Toronto zone. Franson backhands it right back out again. D'Amigo couldn't reach that. Leafs are able to poke it up on the wing, and McClement gets it in over the line. D'Amigo with speed into the corner, and it's around back to the net. He tries to jam it in, and Elliott would have none of it as he was able to cover up on the post. From the Scottrade Center in St. Louis, you're watching Maple Leaf Hockey here on Leafs TV.
Well, the good news for Ken Hitchcock and his team is they lead the league in giveaways. However, if you look at the stat sheet here tonight...
You mean not giving it away.
Not giving it away, excuse me. But if you look at the stat sheet tonight, they have the Leafs as not giving the puck away tonight.
0. But the Blues have given it away once.
Which may give you an indication that maybe the league stats sometimes are not quite as accurate as we give them credit for. Believe me. So when we put those numbers up, they can be a little bit misleading.
Here's a turnover and a puck now for Kessel, dropping it back for Kadri, and he didn't get a shot away.
Would that be garbage in, garbage out?
That could be it. Net dislodged. Want to send best wishes to my very good friend Bob Breckles, who underwent back surgery today and home and convalescing, and hoping to be back on his feet and ready to go to the Winter Classic in a couple of weeks' time. So the face-off to the right of Brian Elliott. The draw won by the Leafs, and back to the blue line. It comes to Franson, on to Gunnarsson. He snaps it into the corner. Kessel trying to come out with it, but can't. And Kadri was unable to do much with it. And now here's Steen skating out with a long rink-wide pass. In over the line, Backus dropping it back, closing in. And a chance for Pietrangelo was stopped there by Bernier. How many chances have the Blues had coming straight down the chute with no one worrying about them?
Well, the defensemen are blowing right by the forwards on the back check, and Pietrangelo just went right by the Leaf forwards and ended up in the slot with a perfect chance as he won the foot race to the net.
Right out into the center ice area as Clarkson was unable to get in over the line, and it bounds into the corner. Polak back there to retrieve it. In Cole gets it into the center ice area and down into the Toronto zone. And it is Ranger twisting and turning to get away from the forecheck. Ranger with a bank pass ahead. In across the line comes Smith. Smith dishes it around back of the net for Clarkson. He tries to wrap it around with Elliott down. And Elliott's got the oven mitts on it. Now Clarkson and Polak are throwing punches here back of the goal. Clarkson with a right hand, Polak with his helmet off, and Clarkson trying to throw overhand rights. He's got him at one side, and down go both players heavily to the ice. '27-year-old defenseman, sixth-round selection, Roman Polak and David Clarkson.
And it just starts behind the net as Clarkson bangs away. Polak tries to box him out. Clarkson hacks him a bit, and then the two get up their gloves off, and Clarkson got a couple early shots in.
So we'll see how this is adjudicated by the officials with 17:56 played into the second period. And the faceoff will be in the St. Louis zone.
And look at the three defensemen here that the Blues have, all stars. And Pietrangelo, Bouwmeester will be on the Canadian Olympic team, and those two players together are quite a force. And here he goes. He just beats Kessel to the right of your screen. Pietrangelo, Kessel can't even get near him. And that's been the story of the game, is the Leafs have been beaten to the puck all over the ice. And there's an example of a defenseman just jumping by the forward and getting himself a good chance to score where Bernier had to be very sharp.
So coincident penalties here, no manpower changes. Fighting majors to both Clarkson and Polak. And it's out into the center ice area, too far there for Sobotka. Right back at center. Ranger leads for Lupul. Lupul turns the puck over, in on the left wing side. Sobotka with it again. He centers, and it's deflected by Bernier. Grabbed off and sent back at the net. Bernier down, and he has that caught up in his equipment and holds with 1:35 to go in the period.
Leafs fans, Rogers and Fido Wireless customers now have more chances to win with the Leafs. Every game day, you can text Leafs to 555 for a chance to win monthly prizes, which include Toronto Maple Leafs tickets and autographed team jerseys.
We were flying down today with a bunch from Markham who were off to Tom Henke's hunting cabin. About 16 of them going to stay over with the former Blue Jay relief pitcher. Looking forward to it as it's sent down there in the rink here tonight. As the Leafs have it around back of the net, trailing 4-1. Holland banks it out at center, fed back in on the near boards, chipped back into the center ice area, and the Blues will regroup the puck. Chatted with David Poland a little bit last night after the game. He is feeling better and his hope that sometime in January he will be able to get back into the fray. But that has been a large hole as the Leafs wait to bring it in, and it's offside at the blue line as Lupul was trying to get off the ice and through the door that is in the St. Louis zone and didn't get off the ice in time.
A little better period for the Maple Leafs in period number 2. The shot's still just 13 for the Maple Leafs, 26 now for the St. Louis Blues.
And a frustrated group on that bench. Brought out now by Bouwmeester and launched down into the Toronto zone. Less than a minute to play in the period. Bernier sliding it around on the boards, and it comes to Kessel. Kessel with Van Riemsdyk into that corner. Van Riemsdyk trying to get it away from Bouwmeester, but couldn't. Comes up on the wing. Pinching to keep it in was Carl Gunnarsson, but the puck comes free, and it is sent over on the near side. Pietrangelo with a long lead pass for Oshie. Diving to get into the way of that was Gunnarsson. Branson playing it around back of the net. Things don't get easier in the schedule either. Leafs entertain the Chicago Blackhawks on Saturday night and then will leave to play the Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh on Monday evening. There's the horn that ends the second period. They trade goals early in the first 2 minutes, but the 3-0 first period is still the difference.
A little better period for the Maple Leafs, but again, the Blues had the puck most of the period and controlled the play in period number 2.
26-13, the shots favoring the St. Louis Blues, and on the score sheet, it's a comfortable 4-1 lead after 40 minutes. Welcome back to the Scott Trade Center here in St. Louis. So look at the second period summary. Both teams scoring goals in the first 2 minutes. 29 seconds in, Stewart from Sobotka and Schwartz, then Kadri from Kessel. And it is a 4-1 situation after 2 as we take a look at the ice time leaders for the Maple Leafs thus far.
A little more spread out tonight as Jake Gardiner last night played over 26 minutes in the game as he had quite a night. And the period starts with, of course, Clarkson in the box as he had a scrap against Polak, who's as well in the box. And let's see if the Maple Leafs can at least salvage a third period here and try to get back in this game. As Kadri with the only goal for the Leafs in that second period to get them at least on the board.
Phil Kessel has had points in 8 of the last 9 games. And an assist last night in the lone goal against the Los Angeles Kings that Cody Franson scored on the power play, and he has an assist here on Nazem Kadri's 10th goal of the season. It got the Leafs on the board after they had fallen behind 4-0 early in the second period. Jonathan Bernier has given up 1 goal. James Reimer was driven from the net after surrendering 3. A long shot goes high and wide of the Toronto goal. Kuhlman on the far boards as it goes free to Peter Holland, who launches it off the glass, and it's volleyballed by the defenseman Barrett Jackman into the Toronto bench and out of play. And HBO following Randy Carlyle and company around. I'm wondering how that first period intermission is going to sound. He's found something humorous. Well, here the Leafs carrying it out with Fraser sending it down off a body. No icing here. Elliott's leaving it into the corner. A turnover there, but it is gobbled up by Berglund, who plays it around on the near board. In this game, the official scorers have the turnovers at 1-0. The Blues have turned it over the one time.
Unbelievable.
Right back down into the Toronto zone. Maybe his pencil broke. On back of the net, it goes into the near corner. Berglund unable to get to it. Slid back in behind the goal. Blues cycling the puck again. Coming into the corner, still with it. Back to the blue line. Pietrangelo will sling it around back of the net. Berglund was tied up. Going for a sprawl was Derek Roy. And it is Kuhlman getting it out at center. Onto the left wing side now for Holland. Long wrist shot, an easy glove save by Elliott. And he's going to hold on for a face-off in the blue zone.
Well, Brian Elliott has not been tested all that much in this game, and I haven't really thought that he's been all that sharp the way he's been handling the puck. Made some saves, but his numbers have been very impressive playing behind this defensive-minded team, and he's had an excellent career in St. Louis.
Played his minor hockey with the York Simcoe Express, went on to Wisconsin where he won an NCAA championship in 2006 with the Badgers. And his dad Bill is a very good friend of us, a television director. As it's played back to the blue line, and Franson gives it off to Gunnarsson. A long shot deflected by Kessel, but not onto the net. Steen will gobble it up and play it out at center ice. Oshie backhands it in. Franson missed him with a hit. Gunnarsson taken to the end boards. Into the corner it goes with Kadri chasing Steen. Steen is roughed up there and bodied by Gunnarsson, and Franson has the puck now played through center ice. Right back down into the Toronto zone it goes, and Bernier plays it up ahead at center, but with Van Riemsdyk standing there waiting for it, it was easy for Shattenkirk to step in front of him and steal the puck. Blues with it again, backhanding it in. Lapierre around into the corner. Last night it seemed that the Leafs were back in their own end and coming out as a fivesome. I think your point's well made tonight, Millsy, where too often you see them stretched out, hoping to stretch the Blues out, but all they seem to do is be in a stationary mode and unable to make any kind of concerted attack as a five group or a group of 3 or 4.
The third period of tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from St. Louis is brought to you by Tim Hortons, official coffee of the NHL.
And to your point, Joe, many times the Leaf defense have had the puck. They've been a little slow getting back to it with pressure, and then there hasn't been any outlet passes for them to advance the puck out of the zone.
Shot down into the zone by Fraser McLaren. Jerry D'Amico on the far side, cycles it back into the corner. Now McClement back of the net, trying to come out with it. Elliott down, blocking the post, and a shot by Gardner doesn't make it through. Now McClement trying to steal, but it's played by Schwartz to center ice. Gardner turning back.
This Blues defense is so good the way they advance the puck out of the zone that St. Louis does not spend very much time in their own zone throughout the course of the game.
Berglund plays it down into the Toronto end. Wholesale changes for Ken Hitchcock. And it is brought out now with a long lead pass for Gardner. Gardner trying to cut in, but he was cut off at the pass. McClement along the boards, being checked at there by Tarasenko. Keeping the puck in momentarily was D'Amico, but it's back out into the center ice area. Now here's a pass in front, and Gardner got back to disrupt Berglund going to the front of the net. Fraser onto the left wing side for Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk trying to play it through, but it was cut off, and Fired right back in again by Kevin Shattenkirk, and it is smothered there by Jonathan Bernier for a face-off in the Toronto zone.
The beauty of Gardner's skating ability, when he gets himself in trouble, he can skate himself out of trouble. Now he gets caught here. Look at him put his head down, keeps coming, and makes a terrific play there on the cross crease play. Just by getting his head down and having the ability to be a terrific skater after he was caught initially jumping up that created a 2-on-1.
A draw to the left of Bernier, and a shot by Pietrangelo was blocked in a maze. He gets a second crack at it. That went off Oshie's leg. And it is played back. He's going to get 3 for the price of 1. No, sends it over on the far side. A long shot deflected wide by Bernier. Unable to clear it there was Branson as it's down into the corner. Leaves Kadri unable to play it up the wing to Van Riemsdyk, and now it is rattled around the boards, but not cleared, and it's right back behind the net for Backes, who centers! And the shot went off the shoulder of Bernier and over top of the net. Leafs finally get it elevated to get it out, and now it is shot into the St. Louis bench by the Blues. Narrowly missing a penalty there as Bouwmeester backhanded it towards the bench. Faceoff will be deeper into the St. Louis zone with 15.5 minutes to go.
And again, we've seen this throughout the game. We witnessed this low work behind the goal line. And then the Blues getting in position between the defense and the forward. And another excellent chance to score. Bernier with a better save.
Faceoff to the right of Elliott.
A lot of puck watchers tonight when that puck's been behind the net instead of looking over their shoulders, looking for the open men.
Fraser unable to keep it in as it bounces out into the center ice area. Mason Raymond and Fraser get it back into the St. Louis end, but the Blues will regroup it now. Up ahead it goes for Sobotka. He sends it back, and Polak goes back. And a jolt there by Trevor Smith, but the Blues break it out at center ice. Ward in on the left wing side, and going in there after it is Chris Stewart. Round back of the net to the near side for Mason Raymond, but pinching is Polak to try and keep it in, only it comes free, and it is batted out into the center ice area. Ian Cole recovers it again for St. Louis, and he'll send it right around the boards and back into the Toronto end. And center it goes for Toronto to Smith across the line with Kuhlman. Shot goes deflecting wide of the goal and into the near corner. Kuhlman couldn't come out with it. And the Blues, who seem to win almost every one-on-one battle, send it down into the Toronto zone. Bernier sweeping it around on the near side. Gardner is second to the puck there. Right back into the corner. Blues cycling it again and using their size to effectiveness. And around back to the corner it goes. Leaving it was Cracknell. He gets it back again with Holland chasing him. Into the far corner once more. Lapierre losing it. Plays it on the backhand into the slot. Tipped back into the corner. Holland is there again, and as they rattle it around the boards, there's no one over here. Shot goes wide of the net. Jackman keeps it in for St. Louis. Centering pass for Cracknell. He doesn't shoot it, but the zone time is just eating up clock and wearing out the Leafs in their own end. Still freed up. They've got a change of players, and Oshie gets it in front of the net. A tired group out there for Toronto as it's finally played ahead, and Mason Raymond will do well to get it, but didn't get it in deep. The Blues changing on the go, and back in they come. Here's Steen hustling around back of the net. Larson in front. Down is Bernier, and he's got it underneath his glove.
It's those little habits that are killing the Maple Leafs tonight. You got the puck finally in the neutral zone. You put it halfway down. You don't put it all the way down, and the end result is another counterattack. And this is what I mean right here. Halfway down, not good enough. Leafs get caught in the change. They counterattack. And another excellent chance for St. Louis, Joe.
It is 4-1 Blues midway through period 3. The delivery of the game is presented by Purolator. Excitement delivered.
And it was early in the game for the St. Louis Blues as they got on the board in a hurry with 3 quick goals. Well, not quick, but throughout the period they just continued to dominate the Toronto Maple Leafs with 3 goals, and that was really the difference in the game, right? throughout the first period.
Pietrangelo shatters a stick and they score! That big line clicking again, and Alexander Steen has his first goal of the game.
And again, the pressure down low. This is a recording, and the Leafs have had a difficult time dealing with it all game long. They win the battle. This time, Steen will just walk right out in the slot and wire it over Bernier's shoulder. Bernier makes the save. Here comes Steen. He'll just take it to the middle. A left-handed shot has lots of room, and what a release. And Steen is showing you why he's one of the leading goal scorers in the National Hockey League with that release. What a goal.
22nd goal of the year for Alexander Steen. Winnipeg native and Swedish trained, as it is down the ice, and an icing charge is coming here against Toronto.
And Joe, the Blues were just in Winnipeg, and Alex's mom had everybody over for the traditional Christmas dinner, just the Swedes, Piarvi and Berglund, but also young Jaden Schwartz was over too, and they said, well, he was the honorary Swede that night.
Oh, that's nice.
And apparently they had quite a night, and Mom cooked the Swedish Christmas dinner for the boys, and then they went out and beat the Winnipeg Jets the next evening.
So Alex Steen, who is having a career year, has added to it here with his 22nd goal of the year, and Roughing Miners here will send the Leafs to the power play. Ian Cole is in the box for Roughing, third power play for Toronto.
This was a little pickled herring served, meatballs, sausage, salmon. You'd like all that.
Not bad.
Be right there, front and center, wouldn't you?
You got that right. Kessel in against the boards, bodied there by Lapierre as it's sent down into the St. Louis end. Bouncing puck along the boards for Van Riemsdyk. Battle for it against the wall. The Leafs, this is their third power play opportunity as Gardner is back at the blue line. Gardner to Lupul. Lupul with the shot. Bouncing puck and knocked wide of the goal with Elliott down as Franson had crept in there but couldn't get it delivered to the net.
You know, it's too bad the Leafs haven't had many opportunities on Elliott because the rebounds have been available tonight, and Toronto's just been a second late like they have been the whole game getting to them.
Now here's a lead pass, but it is offside. Oshie and Pietrangelo get the assists on the goal. For Pietrangelo, he was headed for the bench after shattering his stick.
There's a chance by the Leafs, one of the rare chances in the game, and Elliott did his job, did enough to keep it out.
And the Newmarket native having an excellent season here, teamed up with Yaroslav Halak, who has played the majority of the games. He's 15-5-2 with a 2.24 goals against average. Both save percentages over .910, and the Blues don't give up an awful lot of shots. Here's Clarkson laying it around back of the net. Blues power play has been excellent this year, second in the league. They have 26 power play goals, but tonight all 6 goals have been at even strength. Riley, a shot deflects wide of the goal. Kadri doesn't deliver it. It comes back to the blue line to Gardner. Back to Kadri at the far half boards. Down low it goes to Raymond. Clarkson is in front of the net as the shot goes into a crowd, and it is caught up in the equipment of Jackman, and apparently long enough to bring a whistle. And now Roman Polak.
And now Clarkson's going to get a penalty for slashing after the whistle. So there goes the power play.
The frustration has maybe hit
an all-time high. He nails Polak down in front of the net. And then Jackman comes in. And here comes the slash coming up right here. There.
Oh boy. That was vicious. He might have brushed the dirt off someone's pants with that one.
2 minutes for love tapping.
I guess it was. But the officials decide that that is enough. And so it is the 4-on-4 here for just a couple of seconds, and then the Blues will go to their third power play. Brought out at center ice, Pietrangelo. In on the left wing, and another great chance off the side of the goal. That may have grazed the goal post as well. Pietrangelo again with it at the blue line, and a shot that deflects in front of the net, leaves the man short. So it is sent down the ice by Trevor Smith. .22 to go in the third period. Pietrangelo bringing it out of his own end. He'll drop it back. Shattenkirk to the line and carries on into the corner after it. He's taken to the boards by Ranger. Fraser is in there as well. The puck comes free. Steen quickly getting it back. Pietrangelo settles it down. Send it back on the far side. Steen dropping it back. Shattenkirk winds over on the near side. Pietrangelo looking back into the slot. It goes. Here's Shattenkirk. Pietrangelo, a shot just wide of the goal. Derek Roy trying to knock it back to the blue line and has. Shattenkirk with it again. To Roy on the right side. His shot is deflected wide of the net. Back of the goal, Brendan Morrow trying to play it back to the blue line. Shattenkirk back into Roy. Roy saucers it back to Shattenkirk. Shattenkirk to the far side. A shot blocked by Jay McClement, and he gets it off the board, but not out. Well, Ranger has a chance to wind up and deliver it, and he does send it down the ice. 20 seconds left in the penalty. Leafs have given up a power play goal in 9 consecutive games. Offside at the blue line here with 7 seconds left to go in it.
Tonight's Leafs TV broadcast from St. Louis is brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Leafs.
The clock can't get going fast enough for Coach Carlisle tonight at this point.
And that expression showed it all. Brought in over the line by St. Louis. Backhand shot high and wide of the Toronto goal. Cleared by D'Amigo to center. Clarkson back on, overskated a loose puck in the center ice area and heads to the bench. Sent down into the St. Louis end. And the Blues will start out with it at center and try to launch it in there for Chris Stewart. That's turned over. Kessel trying to get away. The Leafs first line has really not generated an awful lot of offense here tonight. Here's Morgan Riley with a pass ahead. Van Riemsdyk tips it in, and it is quickly played right back out again by St. Louis. The only goal scored by Kadri, but just 5 shots on goal for a combined 3 players off that line. Anything for Hockey is brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Leafs.
Now tonight we feature Steen, Backus, and Oshie, the #1 line for the St. Louis Blues. They've been all over the net all game long. Here's a goal by Backus in the first period. Nice setup from Oshie. And then Steen walks out from the slot here and rifles one in the third period as well. They've been a factor all season long for the St. Louis Blues, and it might be fair to say maybe one of the most underrated lines in the National Hockey League.
Underrated lines, to be sure, and also the thing that you have to understand is the Blues get secondary scoring, and that's something the Maple Leafs have not been able to generate very much. In the game tonight, the Blues have 8 players with 5 or more goals. The Leafs have 4. As a stick of Lupels explodes as he goes to the bench slowly to pick up one, and the puck is down in the zone. Backhand pass in front. Whoa! Stick handled almost into the goal by mistake. Was Ian Cole. Now here's Lupel with a new twig, and that was rattled wide of the net. And a 2-on-1 breaks going the other way. Cracknell with the real man trying to break in. A shot stop. Diving across Bernier, but it was poked away. 4 Leafs to center. Right wing side for Clarkson. He doesn't reach it. Lupel gets a piece of his man, and it is Pietrangelo breaking it out at center. I think the one thing that Randy Carlisle will comment about at the end of the game is the compete level was not there tonight. They have not competed for one-on-one battles. The play along the boards has been absolutely dominated by the St. Louis Blues as we get an icing charge against St. Louis with 6:52 left to play in the third period.
And Jake Gardiner jumps in a little bit and doesn't anticipate this shot going well around the horn. And now he's caught in a 2-on-1 break. Riley Morgan with a real nice play, though, making sure that he knocks the rebound out of harm's way and plays that 2-on-1 extremely well.
Jake Gardiner is -2, Morgan Riley -1, Mark Fraser's -3. There's a lot of minuses out there tonight, and all of the 6 goals have been scored on, or all of the 5 goals rather have been scored 5-on-5. Along the boards and into the corner for Holland. It is dug out by the Blues, played off the back of the net to the far side. Terashenko gets it out at center ice. A lead pass too far for Derek Roy. Back of the net goes Fraser, and Fraser will bat it up to the line, and Kessel just gets it out.
So the Blues now plus 26 in 5-on-5 play, so they beat a lot of teams this way throughout the season.
Right ahead and knocked in over the line. And you consider that Alex Steen in the last 5 seasons is plus 44 and has scored 88 goals, make it 89 after that one tonight.
Jay Bouwmeester, who is a minus player his whole career, is a plus 18 since being a St. Louis Blue.
-35 before he arrived here. Played to the side of the goal, and Ranson getting it up on the wing as it comes back into the near corner. And Carl Gunnarsson with that long lead pass that has just not worked. Here's Smith across the line, a bouncing puck in front, sweeping it at the net, they score! Nikolai Kulemin gets it over the blocking glove of Elliott for the Leafs' second goal with 5.5 minutes to go.
And as I've mentioned, I have not liked Elliott's game all game, but the Leafs just haven't had enough opportunities against him. Kulemin here just rifles it in the slot, turns around, throws it up over top to Brian Elliott, who's very deep in the net and gives away a lot to Kulemin, who is not known for his goal-scoring ability. 1 year only.
Third goal of the season for Nikolai Kulemin. And it makes it a 3-goal difference as it is sent down into the St. Louis zone. Ladders the Leafs. 34-17 of the shots. Raymond and Smith draw the assists on the Toronto goal. Bernier back of the goal, pumps it around the wall. Played back to the blue line. Winding and shooting it wide of the net was Cole. It's at the side of the net, right around to the near side. Blues with it once more. Digging it out of the corner, back to the point, just kept in on a bouncing puck as Van Riemsdyk gets his stick up in the air a little bit with Roman Polak, and it is Kessel starting away for Toronto. Kessel to the center, across the line for Van Riemsdyk. He spun around, and it is dished out now to Sobotka, who gets it out into the center ice area. Gardiner for Kessel. Kessel across the line for Van Riemsdyk. Can't get it into the corner successfully. Holland in there as well as Van Riemsdyk is able to dig it out, trying to cycle it back in the net. Kessel returns the favor, and it comes back to him back of the goal. Kessel trying to get away there from the checking of Oshie and Cracknell now, and comes back to the blue line. Here's a shot by Ranger that doesn't make it through. Far side for Brendan Morrow, and the veteran has sent it the length of the ice. Fraser will get back to be in position for an icing. 3:59 to play in the third period. Leafs will charter home tonight, and then it is the Chicago Blackhawks arriving on the scene on Saturday, Stanley Cup champions, and then off to Pittsburgh to face Crosby and Malkin and company in Pittsburgh. So the schedule doesn't get any easier, although the Leafs are playing a lot of these games on home ice, but are playing against some of the top teams in the National Hockey League. 3:52 to go. It's 5-2 Blues. Injuries are brought to you by Sokoloff Lawyers. Seriously injured? Don't put it off. Call Sokoloff, the personal injury experts. Visit areyouhurt.ca. There's a look at the injured list for the Maple Leafs. Dave Bolland has missed 18 games. Tyler Bozak 17. As a team, they're well over 100 man games lost to injury.
As opposed to Ottawa's missed just 15 games after the rough stretch they had last season.
The draw will be to the right of Brian Elliott. 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Pass on to the wing for Kadri, sent into the corner. Backhanded by Clarkson along the boards. Lupul trying to come out with it. It's backhanded in. Clarkson doesn't shoot it. When he tried to drop it back, it was knocked away. And 3 Leafs, or at least 3 Blues, break the center ice. In across the line, and the shot went wide of the goal from Oshie. Pass intercepted. Oshie works back in on the right side, trying to center, and it's knocked off his stick, and Clarkson will skate it out. Clarkson will chip it in and going to do some forechecking. Leafs are changing on the go with 3:12 to play. Bounces in front, they score! Don't look now. It's a 2-goal game.
Pietrangelo with a perfect soccer play as he booted it right in the net. And does Clarkson get credit for this? He's the last one to touch the puck so far. Nope.
No.
Goes in the half boards. And it gets thrown towards the net.
Big Van
And
Riemsdyk.
Van Riemsdyk's going to shoot it. And up Pietrangelo. He tries to kick it to the corner. He kicks it right in the corner. A perfect shot. And it pops on him right into his shin pad and into the net.
3:08 to play in the third period.
And that Steen goal all of a sudden becomes pretty important here in the third period. 4-3, 5-3.
Well,
3 minutes to go.
Here's Raymond into the corner. It's played back. Kuhlman couldn't get a shot. Van Riemsdyk, an unassisted goal as Pietrangelo ends up kicking it into his own net. Blues back in their own end. Berglund goes back. This not be the most improbable comeback in the history of the National Hockey League if it ends up having 2 goals scored here in the final 2.5 minutes.
I saw Frank Reich in the
Yes, you're right. It's a strange game sometimes. Cross the line, unable to get to it. Schwartz plays it off the boards to center. Blues back to the blue line. Offside is called by the linesman with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go.
Follow at Maple Leafs and the TML Talk hashtag on Twitter for a chance to win great prizes.
Face-off outside the Toronto line. These two franchises are the longest suffering as far as not winning the Stanley Cup. Blues have never won the Stanley Cup and came into existence in 1967. And of course the Leafs. Now here's a chance at the side of the goal there by Kessel.
That was almost a 1-goal game here.
Played out into the center ice area. The goal is empty down to our right, as you can see. Played around on the board. Schwartz trying to send it to an open goal, and Holland has it for Toronto as he works it back to the net. Carl Gunnarsson turns back now and sends it back into the corner. Swept around on the boards to the near side. Van Riemsdyk got it ahead. Holland across the line for Kessel to an open wing. Schwartz tries to shoot it out, just gets it airborne, and now brought to the line and brought in by Peter Holland. Holland into the slot. Holland takes a shot that's blocked. The rebound into the corner. 1:15 to play. Shot out at center ice. Morgan Riley goes back. Up ahead on the wing for Holland and onto the wing for Van Riemsdyk. His pass for Kessel was deflected back to the net. On the boards now with less than a minute to go in the third period. A 2-goal differential. Gobbled up there by Backes. Got it out at center. Played to a wing. Gardner unable to get to it, but it's chopped deep into the zone by diving Alex Pietrangelo. 40 seconds to play. On to Kadri, up on the left wing to Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk shot, big rebound in front, but unable to get to it was Clarkson, and it shot down the ice and into the net. David Backes is going to get credit for the goal. The puck was on edge, and as it hit the boards, it caromed up and rolled into the net.
Well, the Leafs really had no business even being around this game. And the Backes line again. This time they find a different way to score. And they've had quite a night to seal the victory officially now for the St. Louis Blues.
So Backes gets his second goal of the game and his 15th of the season. And the St. Louis Blues are going to improve to 21-6-3, their 45th point. And here in St. Louis, despite them not having the place sold out, 13 wins, 2 losses, and 2 overtime losses. They have played exceptionally well on home ice as the Mississippi Riverboat horn signals the end of this one. And the St. Louis Blues will take a 6-3 victory with them to the dressing room. And the Toronto Maple Leafs now find themselves, after beating Ottawa, dropping 3 straight. 5-2 to Boston, 3-1 to the Kings, 6-3 to the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, workman's-like game by the St. Louis Blues tonight. They had the puck most of the night. They controlled the play early, took the early lead, and the game was basically over after period number 1.
So the Blues celebrate a win here tonight. The Leafs will lick their wounds and head home to face the Stanley Cup champions. Back with more.